Oh, okay.
Welcome into game number 2 of today's doubleheader here on the Kingsmen Baseball Network. We are off and running here from the Carolina Athletic Park here in Goldsboro, North Carolina. I'm Griffin Leonard saying welcome into the broadcast. It's the final game of 5 between the Kingsmen and the Bobcats of ECA. 0-1 to Ryan Waters. He has now hit 2 consecutive foul balls to open up this game. It is Waters, Beatrice, and Montgomery Hart facing off against Scott on the mound for the home Bobcats in the Navy uniforms. There's Waters with a tapped ground ball toward the pitcher. He's off of the mound and flips to first in time to get Ryan Waters one away. Pitcher on the mound, Caden Scott, 2028 right-hand pitcher out of Princeton, North Carolina. Owen Beatrice, the next hitter, the second baseman for the Kingsmen. Empty on the base paths and 1 out. First pitch swinging. The Kingsmen have swung at all 4 pitches so far in the ball game. 3 foul balls and then the grounder from Waters. Oh, 1, and there's the first take. It's a breaking ball at the bottom of the zone to make it 0-2. Montgomery Hart on deck is the shortstop. 0-2 from Scott. Fastball at the knees, and it's a called strike 3. Scott making quick work of the Kingsmen. Here in the first, there are 2 outs. He's thrown just 6 pitches. So here is Montgomery Hart, trying to kickstart something here with 2 outs. It's in there for a strike. It'll be Parker, Johnson, and Hernandez in the bottom of the first for ECA against Kason Young, the Albertan. 0-1. Ground ball to the third base side. Dropped by the third baseman, Mockney. And as a result, Montgomery Hart is safe at first base. The inning continues on the error. So the Kingsmen, with a blessing from ECA, they get a base runner here in the top of the first. It's a runner on first and 2 out for Israel Classe. And the Charlotte native steps in left-hand side. First pitch, taken low and in. That was the first ball thrown by Scott. His first 8 pitches were strikes. 1-0. And outside, make it 2 balls and no strikes. Full order for the Kingsmen. The 4 we've seen so far: Waters, Beatrice, Hart, and Classe. Then it'll be Hudson Entrican, Mason Ritzma, Anthony Seminara, Tristan Harless, and Ashton Bowes. Kingsmen hitting just 9, no extra hitter in the ball game. 2-0. Classe thought about going after that fastball that was just off the outside corner. It is 3-0. If you missed game 1, the Kingsmen varsity side unable to complete the sweep but still win the series here in Goldsboro 2-1 against the Bobcats. 3-0. Classe walks on 4 pitches. So after 2 quick outs and a ground ball that seemingly was going to end the inning, the Kingsmen now have second and first 2 outs for Hudson Entrican. Chance to score an early run. It took the prospect team 4 innings to score in last night's game between the Kingsmen and the Bobcats premier team. But when they scored, oh boy, they got it going big time. An 18-run inning. Lasted over 35 minutes. 0-1 from Scott. Goes back to the breaking ball. Missed just inside. Trying to front door him with the spinner. It is 1-1. Second and first 2 outs. Montgomery Hart on second base. Classe behind him at first. Entrican takes the fastball down the middle. 2 strikes here with 2 away. Young watching from the dugout, hoping the Kingsmen can give him an early lead to work with. Etcherkin behind 1-2. Scott kicks and fires and strikes out Hudson Etcherkin. Heading over, the Kingsmen get 2 on but do not score. We head to the bottom of the first. It is scoreless between the Kingsmen and the Bobcats of ECA. We'll be right back on the Kingsmen Baseball Network. Bottom of the first inning here in Goldsboro, North Carolina. Final game of 5 this week for the KBA. The final, I guess you could say, regular week of the regular season, with the round robin next week and then the postseason right around the corner. There's a ball from Kingsmen Young, the St. Paul native of Alberta, Canada, against Thad Parker, his first hitter. And he is behind quickly 2-0, a couple of fastballs. That one close to the edge, but did not get the call on the corner. Young's 2-0 pitch, and that is inside. 3 balls and no strikes. The Kingsmen will be eager for a win today, especially after having defeated the top team yesterday, playing the second level team at ECA that is on par with the Kingsmen's top team here at the prospect level of the Academy Baseball Association. Three balls and 1 strike after Young found the zone for the first time, and the ball popped foul to bring the count to full. Good recovery here from Kingsmen Young. He was down 3-0. Has now got it to 3-2, and will look for his first out of the game against Parker with Evan Johnson on deck. 3-2 pitch. Fastball outside corner, got him. Parker tried to sell it, but the call at the plate was a looking strike 3, and that is out number 1 here in the bottom of the first. Kingsmen defensively, Hudson Etcherkin in left, Ryan Waters, the center fielder, Tristan Harless in right. Clossley, the third baseman, Hart, the shortstop, on the left side of the infield. There's a foul tip into the glove of Ritzma for strike one. Beatrice and Seminara on the right side of the infield turf. Mason Ritzma is catching Kason Young, the Canadian battery. As we've said a few times this year, there's a swing and a miss on the changeup. Disgusting from Young. It is 0-2. Five strikes in a row. He's ahead. 0-2. Just missed. Alex Hernandez, the next hitter for ECA, then Miles Ham, if they can get a base runner. Two-strike pitch. Foul tip, strike three. Back-to-back strikeouts to start the day for Kason Young. He's got two, and there are two out here in the first. Hernandez, the next hitter, as Young starts to settle in. Sometimes it just takes a couple of pitches to get into the swing of things. Here's the first pitch to Hernandez. It's outside. Young was behind 3-0 to his first hitter. Took a deep breath and reset, and since then, he has been untouchable. 1-0, that is downstairs, and he's got to find the zone again. 2 balls and no strikes. In the top of the second, it'll be Ritzma, Seminara, and Harless. The 6, 7, and 8 hitters due up in the order for the visitors. 2 balls and no strikes. ECA looking for their first base runner. That is at the top of the zone, called strike one. Two-one from the Canadian. That's hit high in the air, but not deep. Shortstop position, Montgomery Hart. 1, 2, 3 in the first. We head to the second. It is scoreless here in Goldsboro. We'll be right back with the Kingsmen coming back to the plate right here on the Kingsmen Baseball Network. Top of the second, Ritzma, the leadoff man, against Caden Scott. First pitch of the inning is hit in the air to left field, hooking foul into the corner. Couldn't quite see if it stayed in play, and now we see it bouncing across the grass. Foul to the left-hand side. It was uncatchable for the left-hander, Evan Johnson, regardless. ECA has gotten somebody mildly tossing in the bullpen. We'll see how long Caden Scott is in this game. He looked pretty good in the first. No hits against. He did walk Clase. Very well could have had a 1-2-3 inning, but there was the error on the third baseman. Now Ritzma takes the ball high and a little bit away. 1 ball and 1 strike. No runs through 1. It's the first time in any game, prospect or varsity this week, that has been the case. One team has scored in the first inning of the first 4 games this week. 2 balls and 1 strike to the left-handed hitter. The catcher with his first at-bat of the game. Scott's 2-1 is outside. It was a hit parade in the game last night for the prospect team. Ritzma had 1 of those hits. Reached 3 of the 4 times he was at the plate. 3-1. And he walks to start the inning. Second walk of the game for Caden Scott. The Kingsmen threatening once more. That was pitch number 21 for Scott. Behind him in the field, it's Johnson, Ham, and Cora in the outfield. Mockney, Scott, Hill, and Hernandez on the infield with Newsom behind the plate. Turf infield, grass outfield. Makes for some high bounces on balls that hit out to the outfield grass. That's a strike on the pitch moving away from the hitter. Seminara takes 0-1. Anthony Seminara III. Anthony Seminara II is in the stands right-hand side, watching on. Seminara squared a bunt. Did not see if that was called a ball or a strike. It looked like Seminara offered at it. Waiting on the official count here, and it was called a ball. And now the call has been changed. So it was called a ball at the plate, and then on appeal, he offered at it. It did look like Seminara lunged after it just a little bit. And if you do that, even if you pull back afterwards, it's still a bunt attempt. Seminara strikes out. That call changes that at-bat, and the fastball strikes out for out number 1. Botudak takes the hat off for a moment and puts it back on with a deep breath. Tristan Harless batting left-hand side as the 6-hole Mason Ritzma stands. That's a ball outside. Courtesy runner is in for Ritzma. That's Winan down at first base now. I do believe he has a sliding glove on both of his hands. That's ball number 2. He has had to slide a lot this series, trying to limit the damage. Made a nice diving catch at the end of the varsity game in right center field. Helped to avoid an extra base hit for Jack Catron on the mound. Ball outside. Quick conference between pitcher and catcher. Kingsmen were down 4-0 last night in their prospect win over ECA Premier before that big inning. The Bobcats did not score after the Kingsmen had that big fourth. Here it's an early stalemate. 3-0 to Harless. And it's outside. No expansion of the zone on the 3-0 count. Scott does not get the call. And it is the second walk of the inning, third walk of the afternoon. Here comes Ashton Bowes. First pitch in the dirt, blocked. That'll keep the runners at second and first. Ashton Bowes has been on a tear at the plate. He's gotten his average all the way up to 340 at the prospect level. There's a little bit of a slower start, so he takes a strike on the inside corner. But in his last 4 games, he has 9 hits, 3 extra base hits, His average was 216 on April 7th. 15 days later, he has increased it by 126 points. That's unbelievable. Trying to extend the hit streak here with one away, 1-2. He took it outside, 2 balls and 2 strikes. Top of the order coming up after this, where Ryan Waters is on deck to hit a second time. 2-2. Bose pokes it up the middle. It is down in center and toward the left center gap. It's cut off. 1 run comes in to score as Winant crosses the plate. The throw goes to third, and it's an RBI single for Ashton Bose. The first hit of the game for either team brings in the first run. A 5-game hitting streak for Bose, who keeps up his electric streak at the plate. First pitch inside Ryan Waters, second time through the order for the Kingsmen. And now, after the bottom of the order, the 6, 7, 8, and 9 spots come up with 3 base runners out of the 4. The top comes back around for the second time, trying to make it a big inning. Waters with a big cut, but he is empty, and it is 1-1. Waters and Beatrice, the next 2 hitters, neither of which got on base. One. Swing and a miss. Back-to-back empty hacks from Waters. He is the only Kingsman so far in this game to put a ball in play that has resulted in an out. Every other out for the Kingsmen has been a strikeout. When Scott has had the ball over the plate, it has been mostly successful. 3 early strikeouts, looking for a 4th for out number 2. 1-2 pitch, just outside, delayed steal. They go to second. It's cut off. Throw to the plate. The slide. Out is the call at the plate. Harless slid in hard, trying to get the foot in there. The catcher, Newsome, stood his ground. And it's out number 2. Not a bad play from the shortstop either. Charlie Scott got it out of his hand quickly to get it back to the plate. Now inside the Waters. I said 2-2. Or rather 3-2, and now a walk. The count was full, and now runners are on second and first for Owen Beatrice. The Kingsmen with a 1-0 lead nearly scored a second, but an out at the plate preventing that. Beatrice struck out looking his first time, had a big day yesterday. First pitch from Scott. Beatrice into center field, sending back Ham toward the wall, and that ball is off the wall, or rather just in front, and it bounces over. It's a ground rule double for Owen Beatrice. That brings in a run. Bose scores from second base. Ryan Waters moves to third on the ground rule. So 2 runs in the inning for the Kingsmen. That brings up Montgomery Hart. Beatrice smoked that ball to deep center, but just left it shy of the fence. First pitch, just outside to Gummy. Gummy grounded a ball to the third baseman Mockney in the first. It was mishandled, and that error kept the inning alive. The Kingsmen did not score. That's by the catcher. Coming to the plate. Ryan Waters with the dive. He's safe. 3-0 on the wild pitch. And to third goes Beatrice. The Kingsmen have come alive here in the second inning. Montgomery Hart with 2 outs can keep this going. Scott, the 2-0. It's hit sharply foul to the third base side, and it bounces onto the field to the left of the ECA home ballpark here. Here at the CAP, as they call it, Carolina Athletic Park 4-field complex here in Goldsboro. There's a high fly ball to deep center. Back goes Ham at the track of the wall. Gone! Montgomery Hart to dead center. A 2-run jack. And he breaks open the ball game here in inning number 2. It's 5-0. Big fly for Hart. It's his second home run in the prospect season in his 31st game. And here comes the ECA coach to talk to Caden Scott. He is done. The last 5 hitters to the plate for the Kingsmen have scored. We will be back right after this on the Kingsmen Baseball Network. Back here in the bottom of the second, a new pitcher in for ECA as Caden Scott's day has been quickly ended. And Clase, a first pitch ground ball to the second base side, Hill to Hernandez. And the inning is over. So Carson Mentluski comes in, throws one pitch, and the inning concludes. 5 runs for the Kingsmen. They power ahead. We'll be back for the bottom half as Kason Young tries to shut down ECA one more time. We'll be back after this on the Kingsmen Baseball Network. Bottom two here in Goldsboro. Casey Young back on the mound to face Miles Ham. First pitch of the inning on the inside corner of the zone. The Kingsmen with a productive top of the second to take their first lead of the ball game. 5 spot, capped off by the Montgomery Hart 2-run home run to center field. 0-1 from Kaysen. That ball hit high in the air, third base side into shallow left. Entrican calls off Hart, and the catch is made. 1 away. Ball was hit high into the air, but the launch angle not allowing for a whole lot of distance. Jackson Mockney, the third baseman, steps into the hitting circle. Final game of the week for the Kingsmen. The next KBA action will be on Tuesday in Lexington, South Carolina. The ABA round robin from the Lexington County Blowfish Stadium and the surrounding fields. That is high for a ball. I believe the way the schedule works out, the prospect team going to play 2 of its 3 games at that ballpark. The summer team played there last summer. Beautiful venue. Change up in the dirt. 2 balls and no strikes. There is a Kingsman that was on the summer team this last year that we got the pleasure of seeing last week at Lander University, Nolan Alexander, the right-handed pitcher. Alexander, this summer, going to play for those Blowfish in Lexington. That ball hit high in the air, third base side. Foul ground, Clase has it for out number 2.
Thank you.
Pop out for out number 2. Here comes Jeffrey Newsom. Casey Young has retired the first 5 hitters that he has seen. This will be just pitch number 20, making short work of the Bobcats so far. The pitch. Swing and a miss. Varsity team of the game on Tuesday to kick off the round robin. Prospects' first game isn't until Wednesday afternoon. The varsity team will have played 2 games by the time the prospect team has their first. That is high for a ball. One. And that skipped in the dirt, a foot shy of home plate. Bounce back to Ritzma. It is 2-1. Pretty nice surroundings here at the ballpark in Goldsboro. You can see it on your screen. Nice array of trees deep into the outfield. Can't imagine it's easy to find a home run ball, though, especially those hit to left. Just missed the outside corner. The outside part of the zone has been squeezed today in the first couple of innings. It is 3-1. Charlie Scott is the on-deck man if ECA gets another hitter. 3-1 pitch from Kaysen. Foul ball. Leading off the third for the KBA, it'll be Entrican, Ritzma, and Seminara, 5, 6, and 7. After the Kingsmen didn't quite bat through the order in the second, but they did bring 8 hitters to the plate. Full count from Kaysen Young. Got him! They will have to go to first. Ritzma has it, goes to Seminara, and the inning is over. 2 innings without a blemish for Kaysen Young, and he strikes out Newsom to wrap it up. 3 strikeouts through 2. Kingsman up 5-0. We go to the third here on the Kingsman Baseball Network. Back here for the third. It starts with a ball high to Hudson Entrekin, batting for the second time against Carson Mentluski. Came in through one pitch and got out of the second. Now sees a hard ground ball hit, knocked down by the shortstop. Entrekin sprints across the bag. It's a leadoff single. The shortstop had to react quickly to a ball that was hit hard. Charlie Scott got his glove to it, but no chance to make that play, and it's a hit. Runner on first and nobody out for Mason Ritzma, who walked to start the second, came around to score on the Ashton Bowes RBI single. It's the first of 5 runners to come in to score. The Kingsmen have the lead because of that. Ritzma squared the bunt, pulled it back for a ball, 1 ball, no strikes. Second pitcher on the mound for ECA in this one. In the Prospect versus Premier game yesterday, ECA's starter was lights out. Ritzma pulls back and takes the ball, 2 balls and no strikes. Looks like a slash bunt opportunity. Connor Radford started that game for ECA, the Old Dominion commit, through 2 scoreless. But it was when the Bobcats made the move to Josh Parnell that the Kingsmen started to gain some life in that game. Runner on the move, just off the outside corner. Throw down to second's a good one, but not good enough to get Entrekin, who slides in with a stolen base. That is stolen base number 5 for Hudson Entrekin this season. He is a perfect 5 for 5, trying to swipe a bag. And now Ritzma walks once again. His second walk of the game, and it's second and first with nobody out for Seminara. Big chance here for the Kingsmen, and Seminara struck out swinging his first time. And that is outside. ECA with some miscommunication on their bunt defense there. Their shortstop sprinted over to third to cover the bag, but the third baseman wasn't charging. So if Seminara dropped the bunt down there, he probably would have been able to leg it out if it had gone down the third base line, and there would have been no one there to field the baseball. He squares very early here. We'll see if the Bobcats make an adjustment. 1-0. Swings through it. He pulled back and brought the bat through the zone. Three-hour drive back home after this game concludes. Back to Gastonia. Team will be looking to wrap this one up as quick as they can if the trend of this game continues. The count is 1-1. Nobody out here in the top of the third. The Kingsmen with 5 in the last inning after a scoreless first, trying to add to their lead. Seminara squares early on the 1-1. Shortstop moves over, and Seminara does get the bunt down first base side. No play at third. They go to first for the out. Excellent execution by Seminara to move over Entrekin, and that is Winan at second running for the catcher. That is inside for, I believe, ball 2. Figuring out some scoring stuff. It is 2-0. Tristan Harless walked and was out at the plate. That's right, back in the second. But he is well ahead of the count here. 3 balls and no strikes. Chance, potentially, to load the bases for Ashton Bowes, who has a base hit in this one. Harless was the first of 5 base runners in a row that led to the big inning. He was saw that strike on the outside half of the zone. Swing and a miss, 3-2. Harless was behind 3-0. The count is now full with runners on second and third. The pitch. Line drive foul. Menlewski with a full count and one away. Strikes out Harless. A huge second out to keep the runners in their spots, and Ashenbo is up with 2 down. Bottom of the order up, but it does not feel like it right now with the way Ashenbo is swinging the bat. First pitch ball. That hit that drove in the first run of the ball game was Bose's 10th hit in the last 5 games, and he lofts one foul. Out of the windup, the pitch. And he strikes out Bose. The fastball blown by Menlewski strikes out Ashton Bose on 3 pitches. And despite the Kingsmen having runners in scoring position with 1 out, they do not score here in the third. We go to the bottom half. Keeson Young tries to keep his hot streak on the mound going when we come back on the Kingsmen Baseball Network. Back here for the bottom of the third, Keeson Young trying to keep going here against Charlie Scott and the Bobcats. Deals the first pitch breaking ball outside, 1-0. 6 hitters up, 6 hitters down for ECA so far. That 1 ball leaves the infield. 1 ball, no strikes. 7, 8, 9 due up here in the third, but Young is behind 2-0. In the the bottom of the first, he was behind 3-0 to the first hitter he saw, recovered and got the strikeout. See what he does here as Charlie Scott in the box prepares for his 2-0 pitch. That ball is ripped into left center. Entrikin will watch that one head to the wall and bounce on over. It's a ground rule double to start the third inning. I don't think Entrikin had much of a shot at it, but it didn't seem like off the bat he quite knew how much of the barrel Scott really got on that baseball. He crushed it into the gap. It's a leadoff double here in the third. Chandler Hill, the next to the plate with nobody out. First hit of the ball game for ECA. First base runner at all. After giving up the double on the 2-0 count, Young will try to get ahead of Hill. And he does with the foul ball hit toward the ECA dugout. I'd like to thank those of you joining us today on the Kingsmen Baseball Network. Reminder that all Kingsmen Academy games are available on demand, so if you missed anything from the action in Goldsboro, more than welcome to go back and track it down. Kingsmen 3-1 so far here in Goldsboro this week, trying to cap off the week with an 80% win rate. 1-1 pitch. High for ball 2. This week has seen the return of a couple of players that have been dearly missed by the KBA. Jake Donaldson pitching for the first time since the Dominican Republic. And Deacon Curtis back in the lineup. I've not seen him yet in the field. I don't believe he is yet cleared to throw. But getting some hacks in his first action of the entire spring season. Young needs to find the zone here. He is behind 3-1. He comes set from the stretch position. And he misses the knees. Ball 4. Still nobody out here in the bottom of the third. ECA down 5-0, but has a chance to start chipping away at the Kingsmen lead. Max Liriano, one of the floaters for ECA. We saw him in the 2 spot in game 1 of today's doubleheader between the two teams. That ball just low, 1-0. Here comes Coach Joe Hudak. We're going to step aside for a minute and be back here. Bottom 3, Kingsmen up in Goldsboro. Back here after the mound visit, bottom 3. Kingsmen up by a few runs, but runners on second and first and nobody out. Max Liriano, the designated hitter, is his first at-bat of the day for the prospect team. And he takes a strike at the bottom of the zone, 0-1. Back here after the mound visit. Next pitch from Young. And that is low. 2 balls and 1 strike now after the mound visit came on a 1-0 count. Liriano, then Cora, and then the top of the ECA order. The bottom of the order having more success than the top against Kaysen. There's a throw down to first, but back safely goes Hill. And that was ball 3. Correction, that last pitch was called a strike. It is 2-2. Time called by Liriano, so Young will have to restart his preparation for the pitch. Kingsmen still plenty of work to do if they're going to wrap up this week with a win. 2-2. Strikes out Liriano. Out number 1 here in inning number 3 That's strikeout number 4 for Kingsmen Young through 2 1/3. So he comes back strong after the walk. Second and first, 1 out for Isaiah Cora in the 10 spot. The Kingsmen infield looking to turn 2. That infield today, Clase, Hart, Beatrice, and Seminara. Young out of the stretch. Outside corner strike, 0-1. Outfield for the Kingsmen, Entrekin, Waters, and Harless. Unchanged from the starting lineup of yesterday's game, though. In yesterday's game, Dino Catani came in to play left when Tristan Harless went to the mound. Big lead at second. And that's a balk. The runner on second got a huge lead. Young was looking at him, but then started his motion. I think there was a call from the dugout to step off. Of course, alluding to, hey, step off and go get that guy. But Young stopped his motion midway through, and that is a clear-cut balk to put runners on second and third. He comes back strong with the strike, and it is 0-2. So the job got a little bit tougher, but still plenty of opportunity for Young to get through without a run. He's got to get Cora likely at the plate. 0-2 with 1 out. Cora watches it go. It's just outside with the fastball. Did not miss by much. Top of the order looming, Thad Parker on deck, the extra hitter. ECA batting 10. This is the 10th spot. 1-2. Just high. Kingsmen Young is painting a canvas around the strike zone. He is nudged just about every corner. 2 balls and 2 strikes. And the pitch from the righty. Popped up, first base side, Seminara to the fence, and it is out of play. Bouncing right behind the Kingsmen dugout. So after a couple of near misses, Young comes back into the zone. It was a foul ball. Runners still on second and third. And here is another 2-2. Young throws the breaking ball, and it's popped up. There's an ECA Bobcat from the bench that had scrambled over to that last foul ball. He was just starting to walk back to the dugout, and then he had to go chase that one. So 2 in a row popped out of play. Third baseball into the game now, and Kingsmen Young palming it, fires it to the plate. Outside for ball 3. A double and a walk started this inning. Kingsmen came back with a strikeout. But now with the runners in scoring position, this is a big 3-2 to Isaiah Cora. Cora strikes out on the outside corner. Young paints it perfectly. And it's back-to-back strikeouts. He's got 5. Cora goes down looking, and here comes Thad Parker, who went down looking in the bottom of the first. The leadoff man batting for the second time against Younger. First pitch. Very similar to the spot that strike 3 was 1 pitch ago, but it is called a ball. Bobcats have not found a way aboard the scoreboard quite yet. Still a 0 out there on the home side. They have a runner 90 feet away who could change that. There is strike number 1. A looper that dropped into the zone. In the 4th inning, it will be the top of the Kingsmen order for the 3rd time. Waters, Beatrice, Hart, 1, 2, 3. all three of whom reached their last time around. 1-1. High for ball 2. Two 2-1 pitch out of the windup. Ground ball, third base side. Hart comes in on it. Will go to first. Seminara brings it out of the dirt, and the inning is over. The ground out strands a pair in scoring position. That's good work from Kason Young to recover from a tough start to the inning. Kingsmen keep the zeros on the board. We go to the fourth. 5-0 here in Goldsboro on the Kingsmen Baseball Network. Top of the fourth here, 5-0. And Ryan Waters, the top of the order. First pitch, he lets it go. Mentlowski back out there after coming in the second inning, pitched the third, and now is back out there in the fourth. There's a line drive into deep center, but it hangs up for him. And Waters out for the first out. He hit it squarely, but did not hit it in a perfect enough place to see extra bases. So here is Beatrice, who did find extra bases his last time up. A ground rule double. Scored Ashton Bowes. First pitch from Mentlowski, and it's hit to the second baseman on one hop. Knocked down, still time. The throw is high. A comedy of errors from the second baseman. And Chandler Hill allows Beatrice, the Kingsman second baseman, to reach. Montgomery Hart, the next to hit. He hit a home run to deep center field his last time. Second home run of the spring here with the prospect team. He is 1 for 2 as he reached on an error his first time. Beatrice off of first with one away. Outside. No runs since the second. Neither team scored in the first. Neither team scored in the third. Some big hitters up here in the fourth for the visiting Kingsmen. 1-0 count. Outside corner strike on the fastball. Both bullpens have seen a little bit of activity over the last inning or so. Saw Micah Irving starting to toss. With only 2 games this week, the 3-man rotation, somebody's going to have to come out of the pen, and that was Micah this week. That's a ball high. We'll see when and if Irving does enter for Kason Young, who is through 3. Meanwhile, there's a right-hander up and throwing beyond the left field fence in the ECA bullpen. Next pitch from Mentlowski. Runner on the move. Beatrice slides feet first into second without a throw. Stolen base for OB puts him in scoring position. And that is a ball to Montgomery Hart. 3 balls. Maybe 2. We'll wait on the official count. We need to get one of those pitch counters that the umpires have if we can't see the scoreboard from here. 2-2 is the count. And that is ball 3. That stolen base for Owen Beatrice was his 11th. He is 3rd on the prospect team in stolen bases. There's Hart, opposite field, slash into left, and it is down. Getting the wave is Owen Beatrice. The throw goes to the cut. They will not go to the plate, and Beatrice scores on the Montgomery Hart RBI single. That makes it 6-0. The Kingsmen up by half a dozen here in the 4th inning. It's Montgomery Hart with yet another RBI. He has 3 here in the first 4 innings of this game. We've talked about already the Kingsmen have scored an unbelievable amount of runs this season, particularly in the ABA conference games. There's a foul ball for Israel Classe. 24 runs now scored for the prospect team this week. 25 scored by the varsity team in 3 games. Montgomery Hart now with 23 RBIs, but now he has been picked off running towards second in a rundown, and he is called out on the tag. Throws on that pickoff move. He is out trying to advance to second, and that's the second out of the inning. Israel Classe, the pitch. And he got just enough of it to prevent a foul tip. Instead, it is a foul ball, and it is 0-2. If Classe reaches, Hudson Entrican will come up. Meanwhile, in the bottom of the 4th, it'll be 2-3-4 for the Bobcats. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Two-strike pitch from Matluski. Hit high into the air, but foul third base side. And another 2-strike pitch. That's outside. 3 balls and 2 strikes. Classe this season has walked 14 times, now 15 with the walk he had in the first inning. In a 3-way tie for 4th, and he fouls it off to keep the 3-way or the 3-2 count alive. Menlewski fires the pitch home, and it is inside for ball 4. Classe with his 2nd walk of the game. And Entrican will come to the plate now as the inning continues. 3 straight have reached base for the Kingsmen, although Hart getting picked off kind of makes that stat only a stat. Runner on the move. First pitch low. Throw down to second. Off to the left, and it didn't have a chance regardless. Classe with the stolen base. As the 4th stolen base, the Kingsmen have been able to get on Jeffrey Newsom already in this ballgame. The next pitch. Grounded third base side, and Coach Joe Hudak, I think he tried to retrieve that ground ball, but I couldn't tell if he actually made the play. A lot of times they'll just jump out of the way of those. 1-1 with 2 outs. Hit to the shortstop. Scott with it. Charlie Scott across the infield. In time. Ground out ends the frame. The Kingsmen grab one more. It is 6-0 here as we go bottom 4. Prospect Baseball here on the Kingsmen Baseball Network. Bottom of the 4th, it is 6-0. The Kingsmen in Eastern Carolina Academy. Final game of 2 for the prospect team this week. Final game of 5 for the Academy overall. Won all 3 games yesterday. Varsity dropped the opener this morning, but the prospect team trying to pick up the slack and finish the week a combined 4-1. Young starts the inning with a strike. Evan Johnson struck out his first time. Now squares, and it's at the bottom of the zone to make it 0-2. Alex Hernandez is on deck, then Miles Ham, 2, 3, and 4 for ECA. 0-2. High fly ball into right. Long run for Harless, and he moves back toward the wall and makes a nice running catch. The ball was a little too close to the end of the bat to go out of the ballpark, and Harless, who did not give up on it, covered the ground quickly and made a nice catch over his shoulder for out number 1. Alex Hernandez, the next hitter. In there on the inside corner. This will not be the last time the Kingsmen see ECA. They will play the Bobcats in both the varsity and the prospect divisions next week at the ABA round robin. They'll play them each one time. Outside for a ball. It'll be the varsity team's final game of the round robin on Thursday. Meanwhile, for the prospect team, it'll be the first game of their day on Wednesday. They play 2 games on Wednesday, one against the Bobcats, then against the Blue Claws of Ray's Collegiate, before playing Georgia Premier in the headliner. There's a ground ball to the third base side off the glove of Classe. Long throw for Hart, and it is not in time. It's an error. Ground ball to the forehand side for Israel Classe. Just popped out of his glove. Nothing further. Hernandez is on first with 1 out. Miles Ham, the next hitter. ECA threatened in the third when Charlie Scott hit a ground rule double, then Hill walked, Both of them advanced on a balk by the pitcher. But Liriano struck out, Cora struck out, and Parker grounded out, and the runs never came in to score. First pitch. Breaking ball low. 1 out, runner on first after the error. Just the third base runner ECA has had here today. First error from the Kingsmen. That is outside off the glove of Ritzma. It was in the left-hander's batter's box. Ritzma couldn't keep it in front. Wild pitch puts the runner on second. No more double play opportunity. And for the second straight inning, the Bobcats have a runner in scoring position. The pitch from Kaysen. High pop up, right center field, playable for Waters. Waters makes the catch, runner not tagging, 2 away. Waters made the catch right next to Tristan Harless. And a lot of times, even though the center fielder has quote-unquote priority over both of his corner outfielders, a lot of times with a ball hitting the gap like that where the center fielder is moving away from third base, you'll see the right fielder take charge to make that throw easier, but with the runner not tagging, it didn't end up mattering. Micah Irving is walking back out to the bullpen as Casey Young throws his first pitch to Mockney. Popped up on the infield. Clase calls off the pitcher and the catcher, and Casey Young is through 4. Mockney pops up to third for the second straight time. We go to the 5th inning, 6-0, as the non-conference game resumes after this on the Kingsmen Baseball Network. To the 5th inning we go here. Mason Ritzma is the leadoff man, and he takes the ball outside to start off the frame. 6, 7, and 8 The 3 spots in the order due up for both teams here in the 5th inning. First, it'll be the Kingsmen, who bring a 6-0 lead into the frame. 1-0. Outside corner strike. New pitcher on the mound for the Bobcats. Now 2-1. I believe that's Jack Cunningham out on the mound wearing the number 10, Goldsboro local. Cunningham throws ball number 3. He replaces Carson Menlewski, who came in the 2nd, pitched through the 4th. Out of the windup, Cunningham's pitch, low, leadoff walk. That's the 3rd time that Mason Ritzma has walked in this ballgame. Seminara popping back up after being hit by the pitch, which the dugout absolutely loves. But Preston Hudak advising him to get back down on a knee, a scary one. That ball riding up. Seminara had squared the bunt. The ball hit him straight in the helmet. And he does appear to be all right, and he is going to jog down to first. Some cheers from the dugout after Seminara hit by the pitch. Always scary, especially on a bunt attempt when your body faces the pitcher's mound, and a lot of times that means that you're a little bit more exposed to the ball coming up and hitting the helmet. We saw Tristan Harless, who is coming to the plate now in the Dominican, take one just next to his eye and ended up with one heck of a battle scar because of it. Now he squares the bunt. No rest for the weary. First pitch. And it's a breaking ball, bunted foul. Harlow squares again, 0-1 with runners on first and second. And another breaking ball. Harlow's pulled back this time, and it is 0-2. Having a pitcher that can locate the off-speed is especially helpful in a situation like that. A lot harder to bunt a curveball than a fastball. Harless is going to square on the 0-2, and he bunts it foul, and he is out. So 1 out after the bunt. And that's a strike. So the bunt foul out, the first out of the game, or rather the first out of the 5th inning, and now Bose sees one up and in. Both runners move 90 feet. Ashton Bose staring down the pitcher after that fastball breezed by his shoulder blades. Jack Cunningham brushing the Kingsmen hitter's back. And that's a strike. 1-2. 1-2 pitch. Bose chops it foul. Bottom of the order up for the third time, then it'll be Ryan Waters. The Kingsmen, with 4 runs, could get it over the 10 mark, where they would need to hold ECA to wrap the game up early. Bose poking another one foul. Another 2-strike pitch. Bose hits it in the air to right field. Playable for Cora. Makes the catch. They're going to tag. Throw to the plate. It's a good one. But the ball is on the ground and the runner is safe. Sac Fly scores one more. Ashton Bose does the job. That was an excellent throw from Cora, but it short hopped the catcher Newsom. And Jeffrey Newsom was unable to come up with it. Here is Ryan Waters' first pitch. And he went around a swinging strike. 0-1, 2 away from the right-hander, Cunningham. That two-seamer ran away from the hitter. 1 ball and 1 strike. Top of the order for the 4th time. Through 3 times in the order. The Kingsmen with 5 hits. And a swing and a miss for strike number 2. They had just 1 hit the 3rd time through the order. They did enough to score 2 runs. Up the middle, off of the pitcher. Awkward play for the shortstop. Scott goes to first, not in time. Base hit for Waters, his first. That ball was up the middle for a base hit until it hit, I think, the back of the pitcher's foot and skipped toward the shortstop position. Seminara scores, and it is 8-0. Here's Beatrice with 2 down and a runner on first. OB has reached both of his last 2 times to the plate. That is low and away, and Waters scampers back. 1-0. Waters does not have a stolen base in this ball game, but he has been aggressive all week long running the bases, going first to third on a couple of hits. Kingsmen have scored 2 runs in this 5th inning. It's the first time that a run has been scored in an odd-numbered inning here in this ball game. The Kingsmen scored in the 2nd and the 4th prior to this. That's a ball high. 3 balls and no strikes. Montgomery Hart awaiting another chance. Singled his last time and has 2 hits. Four-pitch walk. 2nd and first, 2 outs. And the 10th run to get them to double digits is on base here with 2 away. First pitch to Gummy is low and in. This is a non-conference game, so it does not count for the ABA standings. But, of course, the Kingsmen, despite that, looking for win number 24 here in this spring season. The prospect team is 23-10. That includes the games that the teams played together. The varsity team, since the team split at East Cobb, 13-8. Been a really good year. First season for the Kingsmen Baseball Academy. It's been great to be there every step of the way. Some really, really good moments for these players as they develop and get ready for collegiate baseball and the next level of life. 1 ball and 1 strike to Montgomery Hart. 2 away. The pitch to the lefty. just off the zone, 2-1. Bottom 5, it'll be Newsom, Scott, and Hill. Backdoor breaking ball, a beauty, 2-2. Pretty good break on the off speed for Jack Cunningham. We'll see if he goes back to it now. 2-2. He does, and he strikes out Montgomery Hart as a result. Kingsmen grab 2, but it is 8-0 as we go to the bottom of the 5th. ECA trying to find their way onto the scoreboard when we come back on the Kingsmen Baseball Network. Bottom 5, Kason Young back on the mound. He is through 4 and now trying to get through 4 and a third. Israel Classe loses it, but throws to first. Seminara scoops it out. Flavor of the month with the single scoop. It's out number 1 here in the bottom of the 5th. Second pitch of the inning. And he drops it in on the outside corner to Charlie Scott. Young had been untouched by the ECA bats. Prior to Charlie Scott's first at-bat, he ripped a 2-0 fastball into left center field and over the fence for a ground rule double. But you can see the difference now in these at-bats. He was behind 2-0 and had to throw something over the plate the first time. Now he's ahead 0-2. And he can toy with Scott a little bit. Here's his 0-2 pitch. And a ripped ground ball foul. Chandler Hill on deck, the other base runner to reach without an error. Chandler Hill walked and then was stuck at second. Scott was stranded at third in that third inning. Young has got 3 in a row. There's a breaking ball. 1 ball and 2 strikes. The top 6 in the order do not have a hit, and Hernandez, the only base runner out of the top 6 in the order because of that error by Classe 1 inning ago. 1-2 with 1 out. Young's fastball. It was fouled off. Young's next two-strike pitch just missed the corner. Kingsmen were ready to throw it around. Two balls and two strikes. Young kicks and fires. Misses low now. Scott was behind 0-2. I said he's got the chance to pitch around him, toy with him a little bit. Well, now that time is over. It's 3-2. He's got to come back toward the zone. The pitch. Hit in the air to left. Down the line, hooking toward the corner. It is foul. Landed in play, but foul of the chalk line out there and left. Charlie Scott making the Kingsmen work defensively. Here's another 3-2. Breaking ball poked foul. Excellent pitch from Kason Young. Three-two pitch. Breaking ball, got him. And the emotion on the mound from Kason Young after the strikeout. He had to work for that second out here in the fifth. Two outs here in the fifth inning. Chandler Hill walked, the only walk that Young has surrendered in the ballgame. First pitch, just missed. Tight zone continues. One ball, no strikes. In the sixth, it'll be Clase, Entriken, and Ritzma. Two more innings to go here in Goldsboro. There is a ball hit high in the air to right center. Harless is racing back, but he will not get there. And that ball is off of the wall. Harless whips it into Beatrice, but it is a two-out double here in the fifth inning. Both ECA hits off of Kason Young have been doubles. One into left center, one into right center. And Hill, the only Bobcat to reach both his first two times to the plate. So Max Liriano, the designated hitter, has a man in scoring position. It's the third straight inning the Bobcats have had a man in scoring position. First pitch from Kason. At the knees, 0-1. This is just the 19th batter of the game for the ECA Bobcats. Kingsmen have brought 30. That's just high for ball one. One breaking ball off of the light fixture right behind the ECA dugout and back onto the field of play. One ball and two strikes. Kason Young with another lights out start for the Kingsmen. He's been so good this year on the pitching side, making his 9th start of the year. Started the season up and down, but over the last month, we have seen the Kason Young that was advertised. Trying to get through 5 for the first time in April. That is just low. 2 balls and 2 strikes. He got through 5 on March the 31st against Dominion Sports Collective. He has pitched into the 4th inning in each of his last 5 starts, including the one today. 2 balls and 2 strikes. The pitch. Strikes out Liriano with the pitch at the knees. Fastball gets him. We go to 6. It is 8-0 here on the Kingsmen Baseball Network. Back here for the top of the 6th inning, Israel Classe, the leadoff batter. He takes a slider in there for a strike. Jack Cunningham back on the mound for ECA after coming midway through the 5th inning. Right on left matchup, the 0-1. Chopper to the second base side. Hill with it. Goes to Hernandez. 1 away. Classe, Entrikin, then Ritzma here in the 6th. It's an 8-0 ball game. Kingsman leads. A 1. Low and away. Hudson Entrikin, his 4th time to the plate. 1 for 3 with a single, a strikeout, and a ground out. That's inside, and it tipped Entrikin on the way into the catcher's mitt. It's a hit by pitch. Runner on first and 1 out. Left-handed hitter Mason Ritzma has walked 3 times. Runner on first, 1 out. Slider in there. It's an immense amount of hook on that breaking ball from Jack Cunningham. Kingsmen up 8-0 here in this non-conference game between the Kingsmen and the Bobcats. Outside for a ball, 1 ball and 1 strike. The Kingsmen have been in pretty complete control over the course of this ball game. ECA has had their moments of threatening, but Young has been able to keep them at bay, and the hitters have consistently made ECA's arms work. A little bit different from yesterday, where it looked like Eastern Carolina Academy had the upper hand before the Kingsmen came through in the fourth with their monster inning. That ball to the backstop off of the catcher's backhand glove, and it's a wild pitch that moves Entrick into second. Swing and a miss. Strike two on Mason Ritzma. Two. And a line drive foul to the third base side. Ritzma out of Ontario, Canada. Like myself, a fan of the Toronto Blue Jays, who I do believe are playing sometime this afternoon. Have to check in on that one after the Kingsman game's over. Strikeout as Ritzma chases the slider inside. First at bat for Ritz after walking his first 3 trips to the plate. Here's Anthony Seminara. 0 for 1 today, a strikeout, a sac bunt, and a hit by pitch. Two outs here in the sixth, and ball one thrown by Cunningham. Kason Young is through 5. On the mound, he's thrown 78 pitches. See if he gets to start the sixth, or if they do finally go to the pen. Another nice breaking ball from the pitcher Cunningham. It is 2-0. No swing from Seminara. The pitch in there for a strike. Seminara, a scary moment. His last time to the plate, had squared the bunt and took a fastball off the helmet. 2-1. Ball 3. Runner trying to take third. The throw, the tag, got him. Entrick trying to take third on the dirt ball. Coach Hudak and Hudson having a conversation as Entrick walks back toward the dugout. We head to the bottom of the sixth. Kingsmen up 8-0 here in Goldsboro on the Kingsman Baseball Network. Bottom of inning number 6 here. Kingsman Country. New pitcher on the mound. 5 innings. All she wrote for Kason Young as he equals his longest appearance of the season. Electric start for Kason Young. Just shy of 80 pitches in the outing. Faced 19 batters through 45 strikes, just 33 balls, 2 hits, 7 strikeouts to just 1 walk, and did not allow a run. Excellent work on the mound for the Kingsmen Albertan starter. Here comes Micah Irving to pick up the slack. He is pitching here in the 6th and throws the first pitch ball to Isaiah Cora. Cora, his second at-bat of the ball game. He struck out looking in the 3rd inning. Bottom of the ECA order, and then they'll turn it over for the 3rd time. Irving is behind 2-0. Two balls and no strikes. That ball hit high into the air. Playable shallow center. Beatrice calls off his teammates and makes the catch at the second base position. One thing I've noticed, the Kingsmen throw a lot of strikes, right? A lot of really good arms on both the varsity and the prospect team. They throw a lot of strikes. One thing I have noticed is in comparison to our ball strike percentage across the game, our pitchers, when they throw their very first pitch of their appearance, the ball to strike ratio is completely in the other direction. The first pitch ball out of the game in the top of the 1st inning is frequent. So these pitchers, good at recovering quickly. We saw Kaysen do it in the 1st, was behind 3-0, got an out. Micah Irving gets the 2-0 pop-up. But now he is behind in the count once again here to Thad Parker. Out of the windup, his 1-0 pitch. Down the middle, swung through, and it is 1-1. I do believe we actually have a pinch hitter. Or maybe I am mistaken. We have the 1-1 is outside, 2 balls and 1 strike. The batter at the plate is wearing the number 17. So, a very odd situation here. We're honestly probably not going to get an answer, but I'll talk you through my thought process here. Is the 2 balls and 1 strike pitch is low for ball 3. Chandler Hill hit a double in the 5th inning with 2 outs. Then there was an out that I thought was Max Liriano to end the 5th inning. That should have brought up number 42, Isaiah Cora. That last batter popped out, and now we have Max Liriano at the plate again, and Isaiah Cora is on deck. The math ain't mathin', folks. I wish I could tell you. I have no idea. There's the swing and a miss. 3-2. Obviously, it doesn't affect the Kingsmen a whole lot. And we'll let the ECA scores sort that out on their end as the official scores for Game Changer. But an odd situation. Unless they just inserted someone into their order, they're batting out of order. Swing and a miss. So, Liriano, supposedly, goes down swinging. And that is out number 2. First pitch to Isaiah Cora is a strike on the outside at half of the zone. foul ball to make it 0-2. So bear with me, folks. I've got a theory. My theory is that ECA batted 11. They had one extra hitter in the order. And then that cycled everything back by a hitter. So when Parker came up, it was actually the 11 hitter the last time through. There's a foul ball poked to the side. And then we get all the way down to the order again. And this would be the number 10 hitter. Because on deck is not Parker. By the looks of it, on deck is Patrick Keller. Patrick Keller was the player that had the excellent game in the first game of today's doubleheader on the varsity side. Of course, that theory could be way off. Either way, Micah Irving has looked great against the hitters that he has seen. 1 ball and 2 strikes, trying to get 1, 2, 3 through this 6th. Fastball, got him. He strikes out Isaiah Cora. We go to the 7th here on the Kingsmen Baseball Network. There we go. Back here for the 7th. It begins with a new pitcher on the mound for the ECA Bobcats. Landon Smith is the new pitcher for the home Bobcats of ECA out of North Carolina. 2027 right-hander. Used to play with Jack Catron. Now adversaries. There's the ball hit to third. Seminara sprinting down the line. Long throw across the diamond. Scooped out by Hernandez. So that's out number 1. Final inning of this week. It has been a fruitful one for the Kingsmen. 3 wins and 3 outs away from making it 4. The Kingsmen with 2 wins on the varsity side. Close to making it 2 on the prospect side. Pitch to Harless is outside, 1-0. There's a strike to even the count. Tristan Harless in there at the plate with the loss earlier today. The Kingsmen go back to an even 500 in the ABA varsity standings. 2 balls and a strike now. The Kingsmen varsity team looking for a big week at the round robin. They will play the current 3 seed, the current 5 seed, and the current 9 seed. There's a strike. ECA has 2 wins in the entire ABA season, and 2 of them are against the Kingsmen. They have yet to beat another team at the varsity level in conference. 3 balls and 2 strikes. Harless bunted out his last time. The Kingsmen will get one more shot at least. We'll see if they match up in the bracket, but they will play at the round robin. So 3-2 is poked foul. The Kingsmen will look for revenge and an opportunity to win the regular season series, knotted up at 2 apiece right now. Out of the windup, the pitch. Hit high into the air, left field. Third baseman in foul ground toward the fence line. And it is off his glove in foul territory, and it bounces over the fence. New life for Harless after the third baseman just dropped the ball. Tristan Harless heading down to first after the walk. Second walk of the game for the West Virginia native, Ashton Bowes, the next hitter. Not much in the way of scoreboard updates for you for the varsity division, but we'll walk through how the Premier and the Prospect have been going. There's a foul ball by Bowes. Wellington Sports Academy's Premier team beat PDG yesterday, 9-4. And they beat them once again today. 5-2 was the final of that ball game. Georgia Premier playing A3. P27 playing TNXL. Dominion officially on top of the ABA Prospect Division with a win today over P27. They beat them 13-6. It's an outside corner strike against Bowes. 2 strikes now to Bubba. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Top of the order coming up after Ashton is done hitting. Still awaiting eagerly the scores of the Georgia Premier A3 series down in Florida. There's a foul ball from Bowes. Breaking ball, popped up, foul. Checking out the social media channels, doesn't seem to be any sort of score updates on the Instagram as Ashton Bowes, a foul tip into the glove of the catcher Newsom for the out. Top of the order for the 5th time, Ryan Waters will get an at-bat. Right on left matchup, Waters awaits the pitch and he swings through the fastball. Waters wiggles the bat, now fouls the ball off in the batter's box. 2 strikes in the bottom of the 7th. Not even going to guess who's coming up to the plate for ECA. The lineup, not accurate from what we were given. Runner on the move. Throw down to second. Harless is in there on the wild pitch. Hustling out of the gates. There's a ball. Three balls and 2 strikes. Runner on second, 2 outs. Waters into right center field. Long run for him toward the gap, and that ball falls between the outfielders. Harless scores. Waters slides into second. He's got a double. Poked it into the pole side gap. Placed it perfectly between the right and center fielders. And that moves the line along for Owen Beatrice, who comes to the plate with 2 outs and a man on second. First run of the game since the top of the 5th when the Kingsmen scored 2 runs. And now Beatrice pops one up to shallow right on the first pitch, and the inning is over. The Kingsmen with a solid offensive day. They will try to close the ball game out when we come back on the Kingsmen Baseball Network. The final 3 outs of the week. The Kingsmen trying to wrap this game up in shutout style. Leading off the inning for the ECA Bobcats, it is Patrick Keller. There's a big swing from Keller for a strike. He had a big game for the varsity team earlier today. He had 3 hits in 3 at-bats. A single, a double, and a home run. Irving's 0-1 pitch. Outside, and it is 1-1. The Kingsmen faithful in attendance today have been treated to a good ball game to wrap up the week here an hour east of Raleigh. There's a ball uncorked right side, inside out swing, sends it foul from Keller. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Evan Johnson is on deck. So it is the top of the order for ECA, and Parker being pinch hit for by Keller. And that's another foul ball. Kingsmen have scored in 4 of the 7 innings here today, and through 6, ECA, nothing but bagels on the scoreboard. Swing and a miss. Strikeout for Micah Irving. strikeout number 3 already in an inning and a third. He has struck out 3 of the 4 batters he has seen. Here's Evan Johnson. 1 down, bottom 7. First pitch to the lefty. And ran inside on him. A couple of the POs, a couple of varsity guys right behind home plate. Getting a gun on Micah Irving's velo. Team will stop to eat sometime on the way back, and then we'll head back to Gastonia. The pitch for Micah. High for ball 2. I'd like to thank you all for joining us over the course of this series, but especially here in the closing moments of this ball game. We hope to have you back either with us in person in Lexington or joining us here on YouTube next week at the ABA Round Robin. It's going to be a busy time. We're going to do our best to get every pitch of every game. Wednesday might be a little bit tricky with the 2 teams playing on 2 different fields, but we will do our very best to get you the coverage that you are looking for. There's a swing and a miss to make it 2-2. Both teams play 3 games next week, final conference games before the first ever ABA championships. Kingsmen would love to take home the inaugural crown. Still got some work to do if they're going to do that. 2-2 pitch. Breaking ball high. Three balls and 2 strikes, the pitch from Irving. And that is a walk. Runner on first, 1 out. ECA still with some work to do if they're going to start this rally, but a base runner is how it's got to get started. There's an appeal down to the base umpire, ball 1. One-0. Outside corner strike. It is 1-1. Two outs away from their second victory of the week for the Prospect team. Defeated ECA Premier 18-4 last night. That was an awesome game to be a part of. Breaking ball. Tap to third. It's under the glove of Clauset. Error number 2 for Izzy. And it's the second time Hernandez has reached on an error to the third baseman. Potentially had an opportunity to go for 2 there if it had been fielded cleanly. Instead, Miles Ham, who was flown out twice, has an opportunity to move the line along some more. Look out for a new episode of the Kingsmen Corner this weekend. Every week, Coach Hudak and guest and I chat Kingsman Baseball. It's the official podcast of the Kingsman Baseball Academy. There's an opposite field base hit into right center field. That is Harless who cuts it off. The runner scores easily from third. Evan Johnson scores the first run of the ball game for the Bobcats. And Hernandez goes first to third on top of that. So it stays corners and 1 out for Jackson Mockney. And that is one baby step on the way to a comeback for the Bobcats. They've got a ways to go, but after the inning opening strikeout, they've put together a few consecutive base runners. Mountain Visit. We'll step aside and be back here on the Kingsmen Baseball Network. Mound visit concluded. It's a left-handed hitter, Jackson Mockney. Or at least it's supposed to be his spot, but it looks like a pinch hitter. First pitch from Irving. That's a ball outside. That is, looks like Tanner Trevathan, who pitched in yesterday's game for the Premier team. If I'm reading the number right, number 19 out there out of Rocky Mount, North Carolina. Swing and a miss. Swinging strike to make it 0-1. Runners on the corners, 1 out. 9-1 is the score. Kingsmen up on ECA. High pop-up to left field. Coming in on it, Entrikin makes the catch, no tag, and a fly out to put the Kingsmen out away. Here comes... Okay, so we've solved the mystery, folks. We have solved the mystery. I'm happy to announce that we have solved the mystery of the added lineup spot. Jackson Mockney at the plate now. ECA started. One more hitter in the 5 spot. Mockney actually batting 6th. There's a swing and a miss. Jackson Mockney looking for his first hit of the ball game. He struck out swinging his first time. 3rd at-bats. And that is in there for a called strike to make it 0-2. The Kingsmen a strike away from wrapping up this ball game. Irving having to work for it a little bit here. But one run against will not matter in the grand scheme of things if they can get this out. 0-2. Missed outside, maybe a tad high as well. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Team will lift tomorrow, practice on Friday, and then they are off for the weekend. One, 2. That is outside. Plan to enjoy the weekend myself. Gonna take a nice little trip up to the Hoosier State. Be back in time for the round robin on Tuesday in Lexington. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Newsom on deck if ECA keeps it going. Fastball fouled off. Another 2-2. Chased the breaking ball. Ritzma has it. and shakes the hand of the home plate umpire as the game is sealed. Kingsmen win the ball game. Final score 9-1. A comfortable victory against the ECA Prospect squad to wrap up the week here in Goldsboro. 4 wins, 1 loss over the course of the week out here in North Carolina. Prospect team winning both their matchups. Thank you so much for joining us here today and across the week here on the Kingsmen Baseball Network. I'm Griffin Leonard saying so long from Carolina Athletic Park. We'll see you next week in Lexington. Once again, the final score, 9-1. Kingsmen win. Enjoy your weekend. Thanks for joining us here on the Kingsmen Baseball Network.